So today we will discuss the heteropolysaccharides. Among all the heteropolysaccharides, we are only concerned about this, that is mucopolysaccharides, because that is most important in terms of medicine. So mucopolysaccharides are group of polysaccharide, heteropolysaccharide found in our body, located in the extracellular space, and they are made up of a pair of amino sugar and one uronic acid, mostly a pair of one amino sugar and one uronic acid, mostly, with few exceptions. They are mostly negatively charged with few exceptions, correct, but mostly negatively charged. They have varied function. It's located almost everywhere. Okay. Now, these terms you come across: mucopolysaccharides, glycosaminoglycans, and GAGs. Now, this is obvious. A GAG is a short form of glycosaminoglycan. Then, what is the relationship between these and these? Any idea? Anyone? I told someone, everyone to read and come a little bit. Any idea? What is the difference? Mucopolysaccharides are heteropolysaccharides which contain these GAGs, but GAGs can be of different types. Correct? So these are all individually GAGs, but all together they are called mucopolysaccharide when they exist in an association. Correct? How? These GAGs, they are made up of one, as I said, and they are polymer of this dimer. So GAGs can be defined as polymer of dimer unit made up of one amino sugar and one uronic acid. That's all. Found in the ground substance or extracellular matrix. Location ki bolbo? Ground substance or extracellular matrix. ECM. One of the major component of ECM, extracellular matrix. Plenty of diseases are there with ECM. What are the other components of ECM? Collagen, elastin, fibrin, all these, correct? These are all components of ECM. So what is GAG? GAG is a component of ECM made up of a repeated dimer unit of is it clear? Fine. Now, when these GAGs these are all GAGs. These are all GAGs. Say for example, this is a CS, this is a CS, this is DS, these are case 1, case 1, like that. So this association is called what? Proteoglycan monomer. Now another new term is introduced. The moment this proteoglycan term comes in your mind, this also might have come, right? See what I told, in the first year you will know what is what, that's all. This much knowledge you should have. So now we have two more terminology. One is called proteoglycan, another is glycoprotein. Can anyone put some light on it? The difference quickly. I don't have time. I have to teach a lot of things today. Anyone? No one? Fine. The glycoprotein is a conjugated protein. And proteoglycan is a carbohydrate. This is the difference. Correct? In glycoprotein, the amount of oligosaccharide is very less compared to sugar present in proteoglycan. Less than 10% of the total molecular weight. Correct? In proteoglycan, this is not. What does that mean? Sugar to which a protein is added. Glycoprotein, protein to which a oligosaccharide is added. If you can recall, oligosaccharide, there were two types of oligosaccharide, O-linked and N-linked. Linked with what? Polypeptide, proteins. So, oligosaccharides are usually found in association with polypeptides. So, proteoglycan counts around less than 10% of the total amount in terms of carbohydrate. Whereas glycoprotein, whereas proteoglycan will have more than 10% of total weight. This is one such association, proteoglycan monomer, where we have a core protein, and these bristles like appendages are GAGs. Correct? So these are this is one type of GAG, this is another type of GAG, this is another type of GAG. So all these GAGs together called mucopolysaccharides. All these GAGs. But when you call GAG, then you need to mention the name. Correct? What is chondroitin sulfate? This is a type of glycosaminoglycan. Correct? The type of mucopolysaccharide. A type of mucopolysaccharide. What is the name? Chondroitin sulfate. What is chondroitin sulfate? It's a GAG. Glycosaminoglycan. Glycosaminoglycan. When they are attached with this, when they are free, not attached, they are called mucopolysaccharides. When they are attached with protein, they are called GAGs. Clear? When they are attached with protein, then this term again comes proteoglycan. Why? Because there is there is no single type of GAG is represented here. There are many types of GAGs. So they are attached with a protein, it's called core protein, and this core protein These core proteins may further be found associated with a long uncharged GAG called hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is uncharged. These GAGs are charged. This is uncharged. So this is one type of classification of GAGs where we divide them in two groups, charged and uncharged. Why they are charged? Why they are not? Why it is not? Because they are sulfated. This is non-sulfated. Okay? Now this association is called proteoglycan polymer. Proteoglycan polymer. This linkage is a special linkage termed as trihexosyl linkage. Everything is there in diagram, you will see. Just write down the names point-wise. Fine? Now, these trihexosyl linkage this particular thing when you see from top, it will look like this. When you see from side, it will look like this. So it looks like what? Which object? Resembles to what? Have you ever seen the bottle cleaner? Brush for bottle cleaning? So it looks like a bottle cleaning brush. Right? This is its physical structure. Three-dimensional. When you see on top, it looks like this. When you see side, it looks like this. Now, apart from this core protein, there is another protein which found in the region of attachment of this called link protein. Right, simple name, linking link protein. This is a structure. So definition, types, structure. Done? Now structure, function, relationship. What is structure, function, relationship? What I told, these are negatively charged, so they contain sulfate. If you look into the names, the CS stands for chondroitin sulfate. DS stands for dermatan sulfate. KS stands for keratan sulfate. HS stands for heparan sulfate. Only H, heparin. Right? So these are all sulfated. What is the difference between heparin and heparan sulfate? Write down. These are the very basic questions. Difference between heparin and heparan sulfate. Write down. Heparin is more sulfated than heparan sulfate. Heparin is more sulfated than heparan sulfate. It is secreted from mast cells. Where do you find heparin in body? You have to answer. হেপারিন বডিতে কোথায় পাওয়া যায়? সহজ কোশ্চেন, বল, দাঁড়িয়ে বলো, কে বলবো বলো? হ্যাঁ, ব্লাড ভেসেলসে, কোথায়? গায়ে, মাথায়, পায়ে, বুকে, পিঠে, কোথায়? হ্যাঁ, কি সেল? শরীরের ভিতরে, তোর শরীরে হেপারিন আছে? কোথায় আছে? আছে কি নেই? দাঁড়া, আছে তো, কোথায়? আচ্ছা, তুই কিছু বলবি? হ্যাঁ, দাঁড়িয়ে বল না একটু। হ্যাঁ, তা তোর ব্লাডে যদি হেপারিন থাকে, কেটে গেলে রক্ত বন্ধ হয় না? হিমোস্ট্যাসিস নাম শুনেছিস? ক্লটিং টাইম নাম শুনেছিস? হাত তো আমি ছুঁই দিয়ে হাতটা কেটে দিই ব্লেড দিয়ে, রক্ত বন্ধ হবে না? হবে না? প্রশ্ন উত্তর দে, বন্ধ হবে না? হবে না? হবে তো। তাহলে হেপারিন তাহলে কি করে বন্ধ হবে? ব্লাডে হেপারিন কখন পাওয়া যায়? যখন জোঁক যখন কামড়ায়, তখন ওদের মধ্যে ওই হেপারিন থাকে। ওরা হেপারিন ইনজেক্ট করে, ওই জায়গা থেকে আর ব্লাড ক্লট করে না, রক্ত বেরোতেই থাকে, তাই না? ব্লাডে হেপারিন থাকে না, থাকে ইন্টারস্টিশিয়াল স্পেসে। ইন্টারস্টিশিয়াল স্পেসে থাকে, বুঝছো? কেন থাকে? So that blood doesn't clot and supply of nutrients can be maintained. তাই না? তাহলে হেপারিন কোথায় থাকে যদি নিচে কোশ্চেন আসতো, অবস্থা খারাপ হয়ে যেত। হ্যাঁ, ব্লাড যদি ইন্টারস্টিশিয়াল স্পেসে ক্লট করে যায়, তাহলে কি হবে? টিস্যু কোনো নিউট্রিয়েন্ট পাবে না, অক্সিজেন, নিউট্রিয়েন্ট পাবে না। সেই জন্য ওই ইন্টারস্টিশিয়াল স্পেসে হেপারিন থাকে। হলো? তো যাও, কি জানি বলছিলাম, বলতে বলতে ভুলে গেলাম। হ্যাঁ, কি পড়াছিলাম? ও হেপারিন আর হেপারিন সালফেট ডিফারেন্স মনে হচ্ছে। আচ্ছা, হেপারান সালফেটের কাজ কি? হেপারান সালফেটের কাজ খুব সহজ। এটা সেল সারফেসে পাওয়া যায় অ্যাজ এ সেল সারফেস মার্কার, তাই না? যেমন আমাদের প্রত্যেকে একখানা পরিচয়পত্র আছে, মার্কার আছে। কারো দাড়ি বড়, কারো গোপ ছোট, কারো গোপ নেই, কারো চুল বড়, কারো চুল নেই, তাই না? এগুলো কি সেল সারফেস মার্কার? হ্যাঁ, ঠিক সেরকমই প্রত্যেক সেলের কিছু সেল সারফেস মার্কার থাকে। হেপারান সালফেট ওইগুলি হিসেবে কাজ করে। ঠিক আছে? কেন কাজ করে? কারণ এর মধ্যে অলিগোস্যাকারাইড থাকে। ফাইন। সেরকম chondroitin sulfate. Chondroitin sulfate, chondroitin name means chondrocyte, produced by chondrocyte, found in synovial joints, fluid, eye, viscous regions of the eye, right? Dermatan sulfate, derma means skin, found in blood vessels, big blood vessels, aorta, etc., etc. Right? Keratan sulfate, eye. Wherever it was found, it was named after that. Like that. Okay. Now, why they are so important? These are joint, huh? When I'm moving this and straightening this, you know, this movement, in which position two joints are most nearby? In this position or this position? This position, correct? So the moment I make this, the two bones comes very close to each other. Then again I am able to do this, you know, thousands of times. How? Why they are not colliding with each other? Huh? Like this. this joint. But slowly when I am aged, say around 65, 72, 75, then we have problem in the knee. Why? These compounds act as a lubricant between two bones when they are secreted in the synovial sac. They are produced by chondrocyte present in the lining of the epiphysis of long bones, and this rate of production decreases with growing age or aging process. If you are aging fast, then you will have osteoarthritis more rapidly. Correct? If you are aging slow, then it will take more time. Correct? So what does it do? When two bones come close to each other, they get compressed. Being negatively charged, these compounds can hold water inside the structures. Water can be held within the structure of this. Why? Because they are negatively charged. When compressed, what happens? Waters are excluded. But when pressure is released, what happens? Being negatively charged, they do not cling to each other. They do not get stuck with each other, because the same charges, they repel each other. Being same charges, they do not stick to each other. They repel each other. So again, the space is created for water. That is why we can do this movement innumerable times. No issues. Right? This also you can do. Right? All joint movements are based on the functioning of these substances. If these substances are lost, then our joint becomes stiff. Stiff means, do the bones get collided with each other? No, never. It can never happen. Why? Because they are tied around by tendon, ligaments. No bone, never two bones will come each other and touch each other. Before that we will die. Never. They will, what happens? The space between these two are reduced and becomes hard. And production of these substances are less. So what happens? They are given from outside as supplementation. You might have seen there are certain certain medicines available in the market called nutraceuticals. They are not medicine. They are supplementation. Like both. Like vitamins, minerals, then hyaluronic acid, glucosamine, all these are called nutraceuticals. They are not medicine. So the people who cannot produce themselves, they are given these glucosamine tablets, hyaluronic acid tablet, so that these are replaced in the joint and joint becomes more lubricated and they get relief from the pain. For a short span of time, they get relief. Okay? So these are not painkillers. These are nutraceuticals or supplements of GAGs. Now question comes, the glucosamine is a GAG. It is glucose plus amine. So can a person who is diabetic, can they have it? Are you increasing the risk of diabetes in a diabetic patient by prescribing glucosamine? No. Glucosamine has no effect like or glycemic effect like glucose. It is safe. It has no effect like glucose. So any diabetic patient can take glucosamine supplementation. So these are the small things, small informations which you might be needed during final examination when all the chapters will be covered. all the chapters are linked. So whenever you read something, when you go for supplementation, you must see whether the patient is suffering from other elements or not. Can you give it to a CKD patient? Yes, no issues. Can you give it to a liver cirrhosis patient? Yes, no issues. But not good. This is not true for all other nutraceuticals. That's why I am taking all the names of the diseases wherever you can give this supplementation. Now find this core protein. So this particular property, that is what? When compressed they exclude water, and when released they include water in the structure, is called resilience of GAGs. Resilience of GAGs. Resilient মানে obstinate, তাই না? ঠেটা, ঘাড়তেরা। ঘাড়তেরা মানে এই তো যেমন আমরা বুঝি, পর পড়বো না, পর পরীক্ষা আসছে পড়বো না, যাই বলি আমরা তো শুনবি না, তাকে বলে কি? হ্যাঁ, রেজিলিয়েন্ট। রেজিলিয়েন্ট না, তুই বলিস কি? যে যা বলো তাই করবি? যে যা বলো তাই করবি? তাহলে কখনো রেজিলিয়েন্ট হওয়া ভালো। আচ্ছা, এবার আমরা স্লাইডগুলো দেখি একটু আস্তে আস্তে। বাহ, খুব ভালো হয়েছে, সুন্দর। এগুলো পরে আসছি, একটু পরে আসছি। এই দেখো, ওই যে বললাম ট্রাইহেক্সোসিল লিঙ্কেজ, কোর প্রোটিন, সেরিন, তার সঙ্গে দেখো 1, 2, 3, এই যে জাইলোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, এটা নয়, জাইলোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ। যদিও একটা পেন্টাস্যাকারাইড, এই পেন্টোজ আছে, ওটাকে ট্রাইহেক্সোসিল লিঙ্কেজই বলে, এরকমই নাম। আমি দিইনি, বই দেওয়া আছে, ভুলটা আমি করিনি, ঠিক আছে? এই লিঙ্কেজটাকে বলা হয় ট্রাইহেক্সোসিল লিঙ্কেজ বা ট্রাইস্যাকারাইড লিঙ্কেজ। এখানে গ্যাগ এরকম দেখতে হয়। এই দেখো, এই ছবিগুলো আঁকতে হবে পরীক্ষায়, আর কিছুই না। এই ছবিগুলোই পরীক্ষায় আঁকতে হবে। বলো বাবা। বাংলায় বলো, আমি ইংলিশ বুঝি না। হ্যাঁ, এই তিনটে ফিক্স, জাইলোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, জাইলোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, গ্যালাক্টোজ, এই তিনটে ফিক্সড, তারপরে চেঞ্জ হতে পারে। এই দেখো, এই ছবিটা আমি এঁকেছি, তাই না? নাথিং নিউ আই হ্যাভ ডিসকভার্ড, আই হ্যাভ জাস্ট কপিড, আই রেড ইট বিফোর ইউ রেড। এই স্ট্রাকচারটা কি নাম? প্রোটিওগ্লাইকান পলিমার। এটা কি নাম? প্রোটিওগ্লাইকান মনোমার। তাহলে মিউকোপলিস্যাকারাইড কি আর গ্যাগস কি? প্রোটিওগ্লাইকান কি আর গ্লাইকোপ্রোটিন কি? তফাৎ বোঝা গেল? ক্লিয়ার? এইটুকু মনে রাখবো, আর কিচ্ছু না, বিশেষ মনে রাখতে হবে না। প্রোটিনগুলো আসছে, এগুলো সহজ। মিউকোপলিস্যাকারাইড ডোসেস, ACS or SIS, both are same, both are correct. মানে diseases related to storage malfunction of mucopolysaccharides. কি বললাম? Diseases related to storage malfunction of mucopolysaccharides. তার মানে কি? These are lysosomal storage disorders associated with breakdown of mucopolysaccharides. These are a type of lysosomal storage disorders. Lysosomal storage disorders, short form কি বলবি? LSD। এটা ভালো লাগলো না? অনেকে হাসছে, তারা জানে LSD মানে, তুই জানিস না নাকি? তুই বেশি চালাক, তুই জানিস, সবার সাথে দেখাচ্ছিস জানিস না। কোনটা? LSD মানে কি? পরে কথা বলবো। তাহলে লাইসোসোমাল storage disorders associated with breakdown of disputed or disrupted breakdown of mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides এই সেলের মধ্যে কাজ করে, এর যখন কাজ হয়ে যায়, টার্নওভার হয়, বুড়ো হয়ে যায়, they gets turned over after their function is done, they are digested or destroyed by lysosome, correct, by formation of secondary lysosome. This process requires number of enzymes, hydrolytic enzymes. If one of those enzymes, one or more enzymes are missing genetically by birth, then that particular mucopolysaccharide is not digested inside cell, not outside the cell. Is not digested or hydrolyzed, so they get accumulated in the cell, and these develops a particular symptoms leading to different types of diseases which are classified in the same class called mucopolysaccharidosis or doses. Dosis মানে একটা রোগ, doses মানে অনেকগুলো, প্লুরাল। ঠিক, এবার ডিজিজ গুলো পড়ার আগে আমরা জাস্ট একটু স্ট্রাকচারটা দেখব। এবার আমি বলবো প্রত্যেকে এটাকে লেখো, স্ট্রাকচারটি আসবে পরীক্ষায়, পরীক্ষাটি আসবে, স্ট্রাকচারটা করতে হবে না, নামগুলো পড়ো। কি কি পড়বে? নাম, chondroitin sulfate. There are two types of chondroitin sulfate, chondroitin 4 sulfate and chondroitin 6 sulfate. Chondroitin 4 sulfate and chondroitin 6 sulfate. Composition is almost same, only the position of sulfate is different. What is the composition? It's a dimer of glucuronic acid and N-acetyl galactosamine. Glucuronic acid, GLCUA means glucuronic acid, GalNAc means N-acetyl galactosamine. What is the linkage between beta 1,3? What is the linkage between beta 1,3? লিখে রাখো, ঠিক এইভাবে লিখবি, like this. CS তার পাশে CS chondroitin sulfate, তার পাশে GLCUA beta 1,3 GalNAc. থার্ড কলামটা ফাঁকা রাখো, leave the third column, make 3 columns. Chondroitin sulfate, middle column, write the composition and linkage, and rightmost column keep it blank for the time being. এরকম by টেবিল করো, হলো? হ্যাঁ, right column you can write where it is available, found in cartilage, aorta, tendon, ligament. Cartilage, aorta, tendon, ligament, all are very strong, very tough. Hello? CS, done, everyone? Now DS, now on sulfate. What is it? What is changed? The second part is same. The first part is altered. What is this name? Idiuronic acid. Idiuronic acid. What is the difference between glucuronic acid and idiuronic acid? Anyone? What is the difference between glucuronic acid and idiuronic acid? Anyone? No one? Last year, one of you have told, last year I got the answer. This year, I think, anyway. The C5, if rotated left hand side, then it becomes iodic acid. Right? So this is nothing but glucose. This is nothing but glucose, glucuronic acid. Only change is the fifth carbon is having left hand side, OH in the left hand side. How it is possible? By 5-epimerase enzyme. By the enzyme 5-epimerase. You need not to know, don't worry. Fine. So the linkage is alpha 1,3. That was beta 1,3. This is alpha 1,3. Blood vessels and most importantly heart valves. So DS dysfunction means coronary dysfunction, valvular dysfunction of heart. Done? 3 columns filled up. Keratan sulfate has got 2 subtypes, KS1, KS2. Remember, in one proteoglycan monomer, only one type of KS will be there. See, I have written KS1, KS1, not one KS1 and KS2. In any given proteoglycan monomer, only one type of KS will be present. Right? Both the KS will not be present in the same proteoglycan monomer. Fine. Keratan sulfate, it is made up of, see, this is an exception. There is no uronic acid. What I said, dimer of uronic acid and amino sugar? No. This is pure sugar, galactose. Galactose, beta 1,4, N-acetyl glucosamine. What? Like Akshay Kumar? Galactose came this side, glucose came this side. Right? See? Glucose, galactose. Galactose, glucose. Changed. Right? Change the position. Fine. What do you find? Heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means everywhere. Okay. Write down in all কি বলে সাবস্টেন্সটাকে? In all mucopolysaccharides, write down. টার্মটা ভুলে গেল, একটা টার্ম আছে ভুলে গেল, মনে পড়ছে না। Now I have given 2 in 1, but you write in 2. You write first heparin, then heparan sulfate. Heparin and heparan sulfate make 2 different point. Heparin separate, heparan sulfate separate. Composition is same. That is, both are glucose, no galactose. One is GLC-UA, that is glucosamine. So glucuronic acid and glucosamine. Linkage same for both. Alpha 1,4. Alpha 1,4. Done? Heparin is found in interstitial space. Heparin is found in cell surface receptor. Heparan sulfate is found cell surface receptor. Right? Secreted from mast cells, found in the interstitial space, lining of the organs, lung. Why lung only? Lung, liver, kidney, etc. Everything. Then heparin more sulfate than heparan sulfate. Heparan sulfate is found in the basement membrane and cell surface. Cell surface markers function as. Hello? So both are glucose. Hyaluronic acid. This is non-sulfated, uncharged. Combination কি আছে? Glucuronic acid, N-acetyl glucosamine. Linkage beta 1,3. Found in function as lubricant. In one more place you find hyaluronic acid. Where? You can tell? No. The outer layer of the human ovum. Right? Fine. So how many are there now? You see 6. Huh? How many are there? 6. Chondroitin sulfate, dermatan sulfate, keratan sulfate 1 and 2, heparin, heparan sulfate, hyaluronic acid. Right? Can you remember this sequence? Remember this sequence first, then remember this sequence. ঠিক লিখলাম? Am I correct? ঠিক আছে লেখা? ঠিক আছে তো? Okay তো? This much I memorized for last night for today's class. At last. So for those who are thinking it is impossible to remember, now you see. If an old person like me can remember, if a very, very old person like me can remember, why can't you? Right? So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now see the linkage. One three, 1 3, 1 4, 1 4, 1 3. Clear? Linkage? Right? It's like this, you should know. Huh? Anyone can teach this topic. There are plenty of videos available in YouTube. But still, classroom teaching is something different. Done? Can you remember now? What is the sequence first? CDKH, H. CDKH, stop, H. Why? Because there are 2 H. Right? Then GLCUA, GalNAc. IDUA, GalNAc. Gal, GLCN. Glucose, GLCUA, glucosamine. GLCUA, GLCNAc. Right? Then 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4 1 3. Beta alpha beta alpha beta. Yeah? এই ছবিটা একটা বই থেকে নেওয়া, বইটার নাম লিপিন কট। লিপিন কট, ইলাস্ট্রেটেড বায়োকেমিস্ট্রি। খুলবে, পড়বে, ওখান থেকেই নেওয়া, আমার তৈরি করা কিছু নেই। এবার একটা ডিজিজ, এই ডিজিজগুলো মনে রাখতে হবে। চট করে লিখে নাও, কুইকলি রাইট ডাউন। What are general features? General features. Each disease are different. There are diseases, but the differential diagnosis of these diseases. But generalized features include these: facial deformity, mental retardation, decreased lifespan, in some corneal opacity, that means blindness. Facial deformity, especially the face, mental retardation, decreased life expectancy. Why? Because heart valves are not functioning well. Corneal opacity because vitreous humor is not functioning well. Now the examples, these are the names, the name, pronunciation. Hunter, hurler, skies, Morpheo. Ki? Yeah. এখনকার মানে present classification is MPS 1, 2, 3, ABCD, 4, 5, 6, 7. MPS 1 হচ্ছে hurler, MPS 2 হচ্ছে hunter, MPS 3 হচ্ছে skies, San Filippo, 3, 4, 5, ABCD, San Filippo type 1, type A, type B, type C, type D, skies, Morpheo, তারপর হচ্ছে Mortolami লাস্টে 7. All there are 7. Number 3 has 4 subtypes ABCD, San Filippo. This is Hurler syndrome, correct? Enzyme defect is L-iduronase. This one you remember. Rest Hurler and Hunter. Rest usually don't come. There is a difference between Hurler and Hunter. I tell you, Hurler or Hunter. এই দুটোর মধ্যে যে কোনো একটা আসবে। এটা বলতে পারছো? 1 Hurler, 2 Hunter. This is alpha L-iduronase. This is iduronate 2 sulfatase. A, B, C, D. Okay? And this is Morpheo type 1, type B, type 2, and this is Mortolami. 7-1 is slide, beta glucuronidase. These just remember names. Among them, only first two are most important. You be asked very often. Okay? Hello? Next question. Classify carbohydrate. Add a note on structure-function relationship of glycogen. Add a note on structure-function relationship of glycogen. Next, structure-function relationship of glycogen. Next, write notes on lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance. The note means you have to write the disease, symptoms, the epidemiology, the causative organism or causative agent, whatever it is, or enzyme defect, and then the treatment or therapy. Generalized symptoms of Hurler's. Go through it quickly. What is the first one? Short stature. That means height is less. Next, very poor in mathematics, gets very less marks in maths in school. Next, thick coarse facial features with low nasal bridge. What does it mean? Yes, nasal bridge মানে এটা নিচে দিয়ে থাকবে এরকম। Full lip means broad lips with a thick, large tongue. Tongue will be protruded because it is large, flaccid. Increased body hair called hirsutism. Umbilical hernia means what? Herniation of abdominal content in the region of umbilicus. Herniation of abdominal content through umbilical region. আরেকটা কোথায় হয় herniation? Too commonly inguinal hernia. Umbilical hernia, inguinal hernia. ঠিক আছে? Umbilical hernia. Deafness. কেন হয়? Malleus incus stapes. This becomes stiff. Stiffness of joint. Why? Lack of lubricant. Shortness of breath. Why? Lungs are affected. Abnormal bones and spine. স্পাইন ডাকাতেরা হয়, আর হাতগুলো এরকম ক্ল শেপেড হয় ডিউ টু স্টিফনেস অফ জয়েন্টস, এরকম। Hunter, this is X-linked, that is autosomal, this is X-linked. The only big difference between hurler and hunter is what? A hunter cannot hunt if he can't see. So remember, in hunter, there is hunter's disease, there is no corneal opacity. Eye is not affected. Eye is not affected. Vision is unaffected. Whereas in hurler, vision is affected. This is the DD, differential diagnosis between hurler and hunter. And this is X-linked. So you have features like mucopolysaccharides, but vision is clear. You have hunter. Fine? And it is X-linked. So propagated from one generation to another generation only through males. No female will be affected. X-linked. Yeah? Clear? So like these are different diagnoses. They all are there, but these two you must remember.